straight away. I'm not colourblind, I'm dressed like this on purpose. This is a pretty typical outfit for me. I like to dress quite colourful, lots of bright colours. I do get comments about it. People say things to me like, oh, I love your style, Alison. You just don't care, do you? Which, at what point is a backhanded compliment just a slap? A woman came up to me once, out of the blue, and said, oh, are you an art student? And that seems, on the surface, like a compliment, like she thinks I'm creative, all of this. But I do want to point out that she said art student, and not artist. This woman looked at me, a stranger, and said, that girl looks like she's good at art, not that good. Like, no other compliment works like that, do they? You don't say, oh, you've got such a good bedside manner. You'd be a really good trainee healthcare assistant. It's been a weird month. I don't really know. There's been too many bank holidays. I don't really know where I am. I find did you all watch the coronation? Wasn't it weird? I find it really strange that we have a king now. I think part of that is just because the Queen had been around for so long, but on some level, I really feel like I thought kings were fictional. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can only have a king if you're the sort of place that has, like, a mage. Or a prophecy. You can't have a king, and, like, have you been to Windsor Castle? It faces a Nando's. It's not the line, is it? I just find it very weird that the royal family's like been in the news so much because I don't support the royal family. Like I don't like them. I'm a Republican. I'm anti-monarchy. But I'm anti-monarchy in the same way that I'm like anti the hole in the ozone layer. Like it's not my main thing. You know, in my ideal world, would it be there? No. Am I going to do anything about it? No. And I resent being made to think about it so much. I got catcalled recently in Spanish, which I thought was odd because it happened in Lewisham. I was walking down the street and a man shouted across the street to me, "Ay, señorita," and then he carried on shouting stuff in like presumably his normal accent, which was quite heavily not Spanish. And I love the idea that he was maybe going to shout like, "Hey babe," or "Hey lady," and then he looked at me and was like, "Oh, I'm really getting like a Downton Abbey vibe from this one." Maybe she's Spanish. Like, who is the man who will catcall a woman but is really careful to respect her presumed cultural heritage? Like, he's a misogynist, but London is a melting pot and he is not unaware of that. I like the idea as well that maybe someone like explained intersectionality to him and he got confused and thought it meant you could only do one at a time. Like, if you're being as culturally and racially sensitive as possible, you can be as sexist as you want. Like, if he decided to do it the other way around, he would have been like, you can do any job you want, queen, in the country you were born in. I get mistaken for Spanish quite a lot. Because when you look like this, people just guess. It's wild. I'm like a human Rorschach test. Like, do you see a rabbit or a demographic threat? I get mistaken mostly for like Spanish, Italian, Greek, basically anywhere that eats after about 8 p.m. and is Catholic. People seem to look at me and go, I'm not really sure what's going on there ethnically, but I'm sensing that the Pope is involved. I'm not Catholic, right? My grandma was, and I was raised non-religiously by a lapsed Catholic, which basically means that I don't believe in God, but I do think I'm going to hell for it. I don't believe much, don't believe in God, don't believe in astrology either, controversial. It's like the only queer woman stereotype that I'm not on board with. Like, I love cats,